Welcome to this week's show of the Crazy Gentleman Podcast. I'm your host, Crazy Gentleman, and today's show is brought to you by Simbita_custom_knives on Instagram or SimbitaCustomKnives.com for the baddest ass outdoor hunting and kitchen cutlery knives. Hit him up, man. Give Evan a call. Tell him I sent you. Also brought to you by Lexan-Moto.com. For the best audio quality music and podcasts inside your helmet while you're riding. Punch in the code word crazy for 15% off. Hear that concert on a budget. Also, shout out, thank you to the producer of all of this, Whiskey Eye. Also brought to you by Bare Knuckle Performance, bareknuckleperformance.com for all of the highest quality parts made in America for your Harleys and now Indians. Hit them up, man. Sportsters, Dynas, Choppers, Baggers. Which one did I miss? Softails. Hit them up, man. Highest quality parts, all made in America. And also hit up the Bump Shop backroom.com or the Bump Shop Diaries on Instagram. Go support Rodney. Look at all of his vintage finds and his coffee company. Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
His coffee company. Go get his fucking hardtail blend. I think he's coming out with another blend. I don't want to say that just yet, but it's going to have another cool name. Maybe he'll name it the FXR blend. I don't know. But right now, he's just got the hardtail blend. Yeah, and that's also the only place that you can currently get Crazy Gentleman merch. Hit him up. And also go support the Patreon. You can go find all my links on Instagram in the little link tree dealy thing. Yeah, and if you don't want to sign up for a monthly, you can always go to Buy Me a Coffee. That link is also in the Instagram link tree thing. And you can just throw me $1, $5, $10, $20, $500. You can throw me whatever you want, man, but every dollar counts, and I appreciate it because it's not cheap, dude. DJ lives in Mars here, and it's not cheap. Flight fucking back and forth to Mars are not cheap, dude. But anyways, yeah, that's all the advertisement you're getting today. We're here with DJ, not DJ Snyder, in Phoenix, Arizona. What's up, DJ?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. DJ built this badass FXR twin cam chopper that, if I had to pick, would be my favorite in a while. And I see a lot of favorites, but this one's cool. The viewers are seeing the black side. The other side's white. It's pretty cool. Little split paint job. Cowhide seat. Pretty rad as hell. And he's got his wild card bike in the background also. That's like the bike you're known for, right? That was the invited Greasy Dozen build.
Yep.
Running our favorite Bone Orchard Springer front end. Shout out to Bone Orchard, Brian. Shit's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's all, and I just went through, and it's all been powder coated. I took it all apart this year.
Yep.
We sat down for like 8 months. Finally, it was down long enough. Just finished putting it all back together. So I've been romping on that thing, man. Springer's dope.
Hell yeah. And then Kaylee's bike in the background, dude. The Alaskan Pimp.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That thing's gnarly.
Yeah.
A lot of fun bikes here.
So you literally bought that from an Alaskan Pimp, huh?
Basically, the guy bought it my friend bought it from an Alaskan Pimp.
Yeah.
But he's basically a pimp too, so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sick, dude. Yeah, that's a pretty cool Christmas gift.
For real.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Want to tell us a little like background story on how this FXR came to be?
All right. So I've only had one big twin, like a wide glide. It was my first Harley. I crashed it. I was like, I'm never going to own another Harley again. I just started messing with like banded engines and shit. And I've always kind of wanted to get back into it because Kaylee's had this Sportster that's just rocked forever. And I built like a hooligan bike, and I sold it, and I made enough money on that bike to just kind of scoop this thing up like out of pocket, barely any money out of pocket for it. And it was like the most clapped out FXR on Facebook Marketplace. It had, everyone used to call it the penis bike because it had this weird RT-ish fairing on it. I don't have any photos of it before. It was all silver. It had like actual clamshell bags, like RT bags on it. And I knew I was going to cut it up. I was like...
And it wasn't chopped either.
It wasn't
It was like just a regular RP. Or was it an RT?
It was a fake RT. It was still like a square tube frame. Everything was like super clapped out on it. And I probably honestly shouldn't have got it, but it was like too much of a screaming deal. And I knew I was going to cut it up into a bunch of pieces.
Yeah.
So I rode it around like that for like 3 months. And then I was like, fuck it, we're cutting it apart. So I sold everything off it, made all that money on those bags for the most part, and the tank and the rear fender. And yeah, I was trying to find a shop out here to do the framework for me because I didn't have a frame jig. And my friend was like, here, you just borrow this one and go for it. I've never done any framework before. And he's like, yeah, if you mess it up too much, we'll find someone to fix it.
Right.
So I went for it, and I bolted it. I had it welded into my frame jig all weird because it was meant for like big wheel baggers, not for anything else other than a big wheel bagger. So it was welded in there all crazy, and I was like, I think it's time to go for it. And I cut these lowers off first, and I was like, man, okay, now there's no turning back. And then I cut the triangles off, like in the center of the lower and the center of the top.
Like half the triangle.
Yeah. And I was just like, I really hope this works. And yeah, it took me a while to figure out the dimensions right. I didn't want to go too much, but I had this like image in my head of what I really wanted it to look like.
Yeah.
And this was it. So I ended up going 6 up. I want to say it's a 37-degree rake, so I didn't want to go too wild, but I wanted it to still have a good stance. And I did all the tube bending and notching and fabricating out of here, and just like watching YouTube and like really talking to like you and Timmy and everyone on Instagram on like pointers on how to weld.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, the front end and everything kind of came last minute. The wheels came last minute. I was gonna run the same size, but I was gonna do spokes. But yeah, when these things popped up, I was like, sold.
I think these wheels kind of make really make the look of this bike.
Yeah.
Like, they're fucking rad, man.
Well, like, do you either have like really sick twin cam swap, like super tough guy FXRs out right now, or you have like the FXRs that are like reliving their 90s dreams?
Yeah,
like
the 90s stuff is so hot right now.
I know, and I wanted to kind of stay within the chopper-ish realm, and then I saw these wheels, and I'm like, I don't know if I can pull it off.
Yeah, and definitely can.
Yeah, it sat when I had it in there with the front end on it. I was like, this is it.
These wheels look better on a chopper.
Yeah.
Like, there are some 3-spoke wheels from the 90s that I do like. These particular ones, though, I'm actually not a fan of. They just look too, like, weird on a short FXR.
Yeah.
Like a regular FXR, they just look weird. But with this bike, like with all the negative space, I don't know, to me, it works aesthetically better with the stretched out chopper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like because the front half of the engine's got so much, or the top half of the engine's got so much space, that like having all these huge gaps in the rotors and the wheels, and like, you know, how wildly long the front end ended up being, you know, it's like basically 10 over.
10 over, damn.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Over. Did you ever weigh the difference, like how much weight you took out of the frame? Because those square backbones and all that like whole neck piece on an FXR is heavy, dude.
Yeah, I didn't weigh it, but like I had to have definitely dropped some weight. I feel like it scoots better, but like it's also much more like bolted into the frame, like with all the we got rid of all the rubber isolators and everything, because it had rubber isolators on the rear.
Yeah.
And we centered it up really well. But I honestly think maybe I just feel like it's faster because it's like it like vibrates, and before it was like kind of walking around in there, so now I definitely feel a little bit more on it.
Yeah. Just a raked and stretched out bike too will make like 60 miles an hour feel like you're doing 80.
Yeah.
You know?
And we already like rip everywhere because the long bike's meant to go super fast. I geared this one to go super fast. Like, And so when we're moving, I'm like, I feel like we are really moving. Plus, like, it's a tall bike, so the bars are like they're not like up in my face, but you know, it's definitely everything I wanted in it. And now it's like the best bike I got in the setup of motorcycles, though.
Yeah. How does that small fairing feel, like being that it's up in your face more, as opposed to like if it was on a regular bike?
Yeah, so Kaylee's gives me like, she's got the same. Well, she's got a real, I think it's like a Memphis Chase, but it's like the Nest style one, kind of like this is.
Yeah.
And the one thing, because I've been riding that KZP around for so long, is like it gives you like a full bubble of air. So I've been like blessed with that. This like shoots it directly at my face, so I can't like, if we're going over like 85, I can't like even think about having my windshield open, because it'll either like try to rip my head up, or you know, it'll slam it back shut on me. But pressure wise, like the bike feels good, but like head up, it's definitely got a lot of wind pressure.
Yeah.
But it looks cool, so.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, that's rad as hell, man. So like, would you consider this your like with the wild card, would you consider that your first like really extensive build, the way you wanted to do a proper chopper?
Yeah. So I built like a bunch of like Triumph bikes and like hooligan bikes, but it was all like everything was kind of bolted together.
Yeah.
And that one I had the frame made and the front end made, but I like really taught myself how to weld, and I kind of, so that was like my first real build. I did all like the numbers and figuring out what would fit and not fit. But then I stepped up into this and I did like all the framework, all the welding. I didn't do the machining, my friend helped me, but it was just like there was no way I was going to be able to cut those down right. Or
Right.
that was the thing. Anything I couldn't do safely, I would try and outsource.
Right.
So yeah, this is my first like real full build.
Sick.
So
Sick. And it's going to Sturgis this year?
it's most likely going to Sturgis. I'm still like a little torn. I was told I should probably take this bike for fun, but like it's gonna suck to enjoy riding around, like, because everything's not very straight out there like here in Phoenix. That one's probably gonna be the one that goes, the FXR for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yo, so you started on dirt bikes, really, right?
I didn't really start racing dirt bikes until like 3 years ago. So like honestly, I just like, when I graduated high school and moved from Colorado to here, I bought like my first motorcycle instantly, and just like that's the only thing I've been doing since I
thought you were a
here.
dirt bike kid.
No, not at all. I used to drive sprint cars actually. I never like even was allowed on motorcycles until
You drove
I moved out
sprint
here.
cars?
Yeah, they're all hanging on the wall. I drove sprint
How
cars.
did I not
mini
know that?
sprints. I raced go-karts, like everything, you know? My family's got a lot of history in sprint cars and like Baja racing, and like we just picked up dirt biking because my friends got a bunch of vintage bikes and I finally had a chance to get one.
Damn, dude, I fucked up. I had it all wrong.
Yeah.
Sick.
So we just picked up motorcycles and really took off with the whole dirt bike racing thing.
Were you racing sprint cars before you even had a license? Like as a kid, your dad was putting you behind the wheel?
Yeah, we started in go-karts, and then we stepped up to mini sprints, and then yeah, we went out to sprint cars all before. I had my license when we went into our first sprint car, but I was doing mini sprints before I had like a real like personal license. I had like my driver's permit for a while too.
Did you, at one point in time, want to try and make a career of that?
We actually got scouted by like a team in North Carolina when I was like 15 years old, which is in like Charlotte. So they were
Setting you up for NASCAR.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like the whole stipulation was like I was gonna have to drop out of high school there, move my family was gonna have to pay for me to live by myself with a bunch of these other dudes to like finish high school, like finish private school out there. But it just like wasn't really in the cards. So we just kept, you know, tearing it up in sprint cars, and then when I graduated high school, it was kind of, we just watched it after that.
Would you have lived in a house with like a bunch of other little like come up racer kids?
That's what it is. It made it sound like, yeah, my dad's like, I don't think that's a good idea at all.
That would have been awesome,
I
dude.
know, I know, for sure. It would have been wild.
Damn.
Yeah, it was something I always wanted to do, but you know, I couldn't imagine what it costs to like do circle track racing now, dude. I'm sure it's super expensive.
Fucking millions. I mean, at that point, like, you either need to have rich parents or your parents have to chase full-time, chase sponsors.
That's what we did, yeah. We had locked down like our first chassis sponsor when we went to mini sprints, and like it really worked out because he had just started building these new frames. And yeah, it worked out so well because I ended up folding a car up, like one of the worst accidents out here at Manzanita when I was still living in Colorado. And by the time we were like heading home, he was already shipping the full chassis to the house, like just like trying to get us back out on the road. So like keep his name out, you know?
Damn.
So it was pretty cool.
You grew up in Durango or Bayfield?
I'm out of Pagosa Springs, yeah.
Oh,
so
Pagosa, right up the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, Pagosa's a cool little town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like crazy how small it is because it seems so like big to me. Like I didn't even know most of the people there, and like I move out here and it's like Phoenix is the 7th largest city in the United States right now, man.
Yeah.
Definitely changed a lot.
So when you were a kid, where's like the closest circle tracks and stuff that you could have ran on?
Aztec had them, but we spent most of our time running with like a club out of Albuquerque. So we'd like drive like all the way through Cuba and like down through Rio Rancho and hit the north side of Albuquerque because used to be a track out there called Hollywood Hills at the casino, and we spent a lot of time racing out there. It was like a full bank track, super tall, super high speed. So it really taught you a lot about like carrying speed like way out of your element to try and keep going, you know?
Yeah. Is the track in Aztec the same place that the moto track is at over there?
There was a go-kart track right next to the moto track, but there's a bigger one like that's more south side of town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there's one in like Cortez. We raced there a couple times at the fairgrounds, and then we would pull like to Olathe or Price, Utah. So we kind of just hung around the Four Corners for the most part.
Okay. Cool, man.
Yeah, super fun.
Damn, you peaked at like 14.
I know. That was it. Everyone said, yeah. Now I'm just doing motorcycle stuff all the time.
Yeah. Well, you are driving one of my dream cars. Is your everyday ride is a fucking 4-speed El Camino.
It took me forever
That's
to
cool.
find that car, dude. I waited forever.
Is there a good story? Did you trade something cool for it or something?
No, I guess sort of. It was a decent story. I was working at Honeywell. It was like my 10th year working at Honeywell.
The refrigeration or
No,
like
I was
heating
in
and AC?
aerospace. So I was building like APUs that run like generate the electricity in the air and everything.
Yeah, that's where you were working when we met.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I finally, like, I just walked in and I was like, I'm done working here. And put in my 2 weeks. They cashed me out on my 401k, and I told Kaylee, I was like, I got a lot of money and this El Camino's for sale. She's like, yeah, get it. It's like, sick. I went and bought it, and it instantly started breaking down. I was like, there's no way. This dude just ripped me off. So I was just like doing a lot of things to it. But it's in a part, like it's starting to get to the point where like we're going to start doing body work on it. And then, Rick just bought that bike off me, so I'm going to definitely fix my AC because it's an AC car.
Nice.
So.
Cool. Is that a dream car of yours, an El Camino, or you just kind of like wanted one?
El Camino is one that I've been sitting on forever, and it just never found the right one. I've always wanted a 4-speed version. This one's like a VIN 3-speed, but it's the right 4-speed, which is like super rare option. I would have never found that.
Right.
And yeah, popped up the right 4-speed, the right engine, and the AC car, and I was like done. And it's super straight too.
Yeah.
The hood's a little jacked.
No, it looks like a perfect like survivor car, we'll call it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just clean as fuck, straight as fuck. The gaps look good. Like it's just a good looking car.
Had some really ugly wheels on it, so I like bought the steel
the rally wheels. Yeah.
And I wanted to do the police caps, but I went with the dog dishes, and it's pretty much exactly where I wanted it. I just got to fine tune it, like tuning wise. But yeah, daily driver for sure.
Yeah.
When I'm not on the bikes, I'm on that thing.
Sick, dude. Dude, you want to hear a good El Camino story?
Yeah,
I haven't even put this one on the internet yet, so breaking news. Everyone will hear it here first. So, my friend Tim, shout out to Tim Howley. He wanted to. His dream car is a 70 Chevelle.
Okay.
So he bought a 70 Chevelle Matchbox car, and his dream was to trade it up for a real 70 Chevelle. Yeah, this has been going on for like 10 months now, and he's up to a Harley Night Train. So right now, hit up Tim Howley. I am Tim Howley on Instagram. If you want to trade a 2000, I think it's a 2000 or like a 2002 or something, early 2000s Night Train. He's looking to trade up. He probably won't go from there to a Chevelle, but I'll bet you the trade after that gets him that Chevelle.
Yeah.
So what I did when I heard about this, he was at a Mac laptop at the time when I heard of this. So I fucking immediately got on the internet. One of my dream cars is an El Camino. I either want anything from 68 to 72 is what I want.
Yeah.
For trade wise, I'll settle for any of those years. So I immediately went online and I bought a fucking, I think mine's a Hot Wheels, I forgot. It's the only one I could find, so I figured it would make an easy first trade. It's white with like flames on it and shit. It's a really rad little Matchbox car. So I am going to try and do that.
To work your way up?
Yeah, I bought this. This was like 3 months ago. I bought the car. I just haven't put it on the internet. I haven't had any time. So right now, I'm telling you guys, I'll post it on the Instagram when this episode comes out. Go on there, check out the little car. Let me know what you got to trade, because I'm starting my journey to get my El Camino. That's awesome. Fucking awesome, right?
That's awesome.
Like, how else am I gonna get one? I'm not gonna fucking pay $15,000 to $20,000 for one.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna just start trading.
I just heard a story about like a chick who did that with like something similar and then worked her way up to basically almost a house now. She's almost at her house, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah, it took her like 3 years, but I'm like, I don't know, people got the long con for this, dude. Like, I'd be like,
dude, it'll take more than 3 to save up for the fucking down payment.
Yeah, that is for sure. Like, for sure.
That's so awesome.
It is crazy. That's an awesome story though. Work your way up to that.
Yeah, it's so rad, dude. I'm so excited. I literally have not even had time to post about that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm gonna have to like put it up all over Craigslist and Marketplace and stuff. But I'll get there, dude. Dude, by the end of the summer, Tim's gonna have a Chevelle. I guarantee you that kid's gonna have a Chevelle. And I'm so excited. He said, he's like, as soon as I get it, dude, first ride, me and him.
Yeah.
We're fucking cruising, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, because you had posted some pictures about like having hot rod style cars in high school, right? Didn't you?
Yeah. I still own a '69 Camaro.
That's cool.
It was my first car. I got it when I was 16. And before I was into bikes, dude, I was building muscle cars and all that stuff. That's where I learned how to weld, and like all my fab skills come from the hot rod world. And then I got addicted to bikes and left cars.
Yeah,
you know,
I did the same.
But a lot of my friends have always had cars, so I've still to this day I'm always around race cars.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm still always like driving a friend's muscle car around and shit. Like, I'm always playing with cars still, just not for myself in a long time. But I really want to get back to it.
Work up to it, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it.
Yeah.
That's how
it's coming, dude.
I ended up like selling a bunch of my cars to kind of just get away from having to work on them all the time. And then I just like had my one other Japanese chopper, and I just like it started with that, and then I worked my way into like a bunch of different motorcycles, and then I have too many bikes now. Like, damn. But finally, like, sold a couple of them, and that's when I was like, I saw the El Camino at a car show that we were riding our bikes to, and I was like, I'm gonna buy that thing, dude. I'm gonna give them all, get it right now.
Hell yeah.
Drove right to the bank and got all the cash.
That's awesome. Well, that's also why I started with, like, why bikes really got me hooked. Is because you could have fucking like 8 bikes in this garage, whereas like you could only have 1 car in here,
and still be able to use any of it, you know.
Yeah. So that's really like, that's one of the other really cool things about bikes. You could just get fully addicted,
and have them
have room for it.
I have more in the backyard. They're all stacked up in the back too, and I'm like, man, I got a lot of crap in here. It'll be nice when Chicken Rick takes his KZ back home, you know, I gain a little bit of room. That thing takes some real estate. Yeah. How did you and Rick actually meet? Was it an Instagram thing? Yeah. He like was flying out here for work, and he was like, does anyone have like choppers or can show me cool choppers or anything cool while I'm out here? And I was like, all right, and I hit him up. I'm like, I have 1 chopper, Kaylee's hot rod bike, and my blue mini bike. That's all I had at the time. And this was just a frame. I don't even think it was a roller. But it was like on a different springer and everything. And he showed up. Not the dude I expected. And like that's why I think he's like such a close friend of mine now. Yeah. I've sold him 2 bikes, and anytime there's anything cool happening over here, like I'll get him to like fly in and we'll do anything on motorcycles. But yeah, he just showed up one day and we just like had a solid friendship. I tried to start one of the other bikes I had at the time because they were like, was like, yeah, man, if you ride motorcycles, I'll just put you on a bike. Let's go get food. And I was going to put him on my Triumph. My Triumph wouldn't start. So I pulled the Blue Mini bike out, and I put him on Kaylee's bike, which is like a hot
it must
rod.
have blown his mind.
Yeah, I was like, man, when you get a chance, when there's an open road, like, go for it. Like, goose it. And like, there's a lot of things I found out about Rick. And he takes off, and no shit, my mini bike engine locks up, and he's like blasting down this road at 85 miles an hour, and I just like get off on the sidewalk. He has no idea how to get back to my house or anything. Yeah, man, he's a good dude. And then he came out for the last EDR, and I sold him that Sportster.
Yeah.
And he was going to trek all the way back across the country, which he did. And the first night he gets out here, I'm like, cool, let's go ride. You got 3 days to like really get some miles on this thing and tell me what you think I should change, like anything that needs to be adjusted. And we ride up to South Mountain, and like we get to the top of South Mountain, and he tells me, he's like, I've never gone that fast on a congested road like this. And I was like, oh fuck, I should have asked about your experience. Like, he's like, I've never been on real freeways like this before.
Yeah,
because the 17's wild, dude, so we have to ride fast to not get hit by another car, you know?
Yeah, everyone does at least 80 around here. Like, I mean, there's been times I look down and I'm doing 100 and I'm really not passing people.
No.
Like, you literally got to cruise at about 90 here.
Yeah, we were rolling back with our crew got split up into two on the way back from this EDR, and we did that the whole way up. I was like, I've never ridden with these people, so I'll go slow, and I kept seeing them like inch up more. I'm like, well, they're hanging out, so I'll do 70, and then I'm like, well, they're still hanging out. I was like, well, I guess I'll do 80, and then I was like, I'm gonna go my regular riding speed, and I started booking about 85, and they were hanging out the whole time, and I was like, sick. This worked out perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, Rick's the man, dude. Like, so I had him on like early. He was one of my earlier podcasts, and we were like, he'd never done a road trip yet. And we were talking. I'm like, dude, I'd love to be on your first road trip and all that. And like, we've gone on a lot of trips since, but I can, like, when I think of Rick's, let's call it like motorcycle career path at this point, whatever the hell you want to call it, that journey Rick is on. Rick's on a fucking cosmic journey of a whole nother level, dude. Like, you know,
he's like the yes man of motorcycles.
Yeah. No, dude, he's become the mayor of motorcycles, right? Like, but so I look at it as that Sportster you sold him, and him coming to EDR as like officially what has fucked him up for life. Like, you have officially spoiled that kid. Dude. Like,
so he always tells me the whole trip to EDR, he's like, I don't want you to feel bad. Like, don't wait up for me if I fall behind. Like, I got GPS. I don't know. And I'm like, no, man, I'll give you the gap that you want.
Yeah.
Just, like, because he was kind of getting comfortable with the bike. And I'm like, man, he is way back there. So we split off. I wait at the exit, and, like, turns out, like, we've ridden 3 hours, and he has, like, 4 pounds of air in his back tire. I'm like, dude, you should have told me how bad it was. Like, I checked it, but like I didn't know. So then we were trying to figure out where he was leaking from, and then that whole trip was just him getting speed wobbles, and I felt so bad because he is like not having the greatest time. But he was like, no, man, I don't even care. That's like part of the journey. And I'm like, I just don't want to like accidentally hurt Chicken Rick on a motorcycle.
Yeah, dude, you can't hurt the only piece of poultry in motorcycles.
But yeah, so he hit me up this year, and he's like, yo, I'm coming to EDR for sure. I need to find a bike. And he's like, I really want to get a cop bike like you and Bradley. Like, let's do something. Can you find me one? And I was like, mine works good. I'll just sell you mine. Like, I got enough motorcycles revolving through this. And we set up a deal, and he's like, I want you to do some weird things to it, but like, just do whatever you want. And that's what I did with that Sportster. So I knew he was going across country, so I put the tour